Hello guys, Steven here back with another video, and today I have my first Lightroom tutorial, and today I'll be teaching you how to edit Instagram photos and how I edit Instagram photos. So obviously a lot of people don't need to use Lightroom. You can use Snapseed, you can use Vosco, or I don't know how people pronounce it. If you want a tutorial on those two on your mobile device that you can get on Android and iOS, then comment below or like this video so I know to make a tutorial on that, because I do occasionally edit on my phone as well, but most of the time I will edit any photos I take, whether this is at photo shoots or just vacation or just for fun. Whenever I do edit my photos, it will be on Lightroom on my PC. So that's why I'm making a tutorial, because a lot of people have been asking me, how do you take such nice pictures? How do you edit your pictures on Instagram? And if you guys can actually follow me on Instagram, that would be nice, so you can actually see the pictures that I'm talking about. It's at @StevenVan_. And yeah, obviously everyone edits their pictures differently. Some people edit their pictures like very vibrant, you know, a lot of colors. Some people like to stick to very clean and like just like very realistic type pictures. Me personally, I like a lot of color. I tend to go toward like the blue, you know, color, like cooler colors. Some people like to do black and white, you know, that's up to you. But me today, I'll be teaching you just some of the techniques that I use and some things that can help you while you edit these photos on Lightroom. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, most of the time I use presets and just adjust it a bit. If this video hits 750 likes, I'll actually be making a preset and putting it in the description. So if you guys wanna see that, hit that thumbs up button. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of the video, and let's just get into it. I always talk a lot in these intros and I really don't want to. I really just want to get into the video, so let's just get into it, you know? Okay, so right now I'm in Adobe Lightroom. I've imported my image, and to edit, you just want to press develop. So one thing I recommend is for you to shoot in a flat color profile so that you have more dynamic range, giving you more flexibility to edit your photos to your liking. So the first thing I do is crop the image, and I set the aspect ratio as 1:1 for square, and I can tilt the image so that it kind of is straight in here, but sometimes it's better to leave it as imperfect so it looks more natural, because not all paintings and stuff are made with rulers. Obviously sometimes they're imperfect, they're very abstract. Sometimes it's like that with my photos, so I like to keep it that way. So for white balance, usually what people do is select the eyedropper tool and select any part of the picture that is white or close to white, but I don't do that. What I do is make it auto, and if I don't like how auto looks like, I will usually lean toward cooler colors, but in this case it's already cool and it really looks really nice. I usually don't mess with tint because I do not like green tint or purple tint in my photos, because I don't like those colors in general, but it's up to you. You can see here it turns more purple. Sometimes in some cases this will look cooler if you're looking for more like unrealistic look, but like this looks more realistic than that. Like that. I really like to keep it at 0 sometimes, or sometimes I will lean toward green more than I will purple. This will look kind of cool right there. I actually like that, so I'll keep it like that, maybe a little bit less, like there. That looks really nice. The next thing I'll do is determine if I want to increase the exposure or not. If it's a nighttime scene, I usually will not increase the exposure because of the noise that it will produce. Without even increasing the exposure, you can see it's pretty noisy. So what I will do at nighttime scenes, I will actually decrease it. Some of the detail are lost, so that you can't really see the noise and stuff. This way it looks like the picture is like perfect. It doesn't have any noise. It looks really nice that way. To remove noise, some people also go on to contrast and increase the contrast. I usually don't do this because I like a very like flat picture. I like a faded effect on my pictures, so I don't really do that. Usually I just decrease the contrast if anything, so something like that will look good. So if you press on these this Y right here, and you can see before and after on left and right, you can see that this looks very different to this, and I can tell you that this looks more realistic than this, even though I took this picture without editing. That's kind of strange. Usually the picture you take will look more realistic than the one you edit, but I don't know why, but this looks better in my opinion, at least. The only difference between this and this is this has a more purple tint to it, and it's a little bit brighter. I'll be showing you guys how to use highlights and shadows and stuff like that to make for a better look, and what I'm gonna do with that. So for highlights, if there's any sort of light, I usually increase it a bunch, and usually on white pictures, if I have a white and black image, I usually increase the highlights a lot because I like the white to be very bright. So what I will do is increase the highlights and whites, not too much to the point where it's like this and it doesn't look real at all. It looks like pretty fake. For shadows, I will only increase shadows if the shadows will reveal something that I want to be shown. So in this case, if I increase shadows, you can see the fence is shown, which is something I actually want. So in this case, increasing shadows is a good thing, but most times I will actually decrease the shadows because I don't want to show some detail on some noisy part of the image. But in this case, this is a great way. This is perfect. For blacks, it's basically the same thing as shadows. I will only increase it if I need to. For clarity, I usually increase clarity only when there's a person in the shot, so it's a portrait. This way it will kind of define their facial features, like their jaw or something. As you can see, it kind of makes everything, I don't know, you can tell what it is, right? But I will only decrease clarity if it's a landscape picture, has a lot of lights in it. Usually I do this when there's a lot of fog in an image. I can do it in this case, not so much where you can't even see anything, but maybe like -5. -5 is fine, right? This will kind of remove any detail you have as well, which is a good thing at nighttime, because if you edit a lot in nighttime, like I said, sometimes noise will appear and that's not really a good thing. For vibrance and saturation, usually I have the same settings, whether it's for nighttime images or daylight images. There's two different things I do. I will either increase the vibrance a lot and decrease the saturation, or I will increase the saturation and decrease the vibrance. So there's a difference if you go into history. So let's go in history. So there's a difference between this in this, right? I think the clouds are lighter, or the sky's lighter with this, where there's more saturation, but in here the clouds are darker with more vibrance, and I like this look better. And I also want to make these portables a little bit more saturated, so I'll just increase the saturation a little bit, and that's great right there. So if I go and compare left to right, really like this one so far. I think I'll increase contrast a little bit, just because it looks like it's a little bit too faded, but it's fine so far. So let's just increase the contrast. Something like that will be good. Maybe decrease the highlights a bit. For tone curves, I usually only use it for a faded look, and what I mean by this is if you go to this first point and just lift it up, it will fade in like the shadows and stuff, and if you pull this down, this will decrease the highlights. I'll just keep that the same, but I'll increase this just to add a little faded effect, not too much. And if you press in the middle here, basically this isn't the best way to explain it, but if you press in the middle and go up, it makes it brighter, and go down, it makes it dark. And what most people will do, and me included, is they'll make an S shape. So what will happen is there's going to be 2 more points, and they basically make that S shape right there. In this case, this is way too aggressive, so I won't do that. I'll just like move it up a bit, so it's a very slight S. It's like a very slight curve. It goes like that, right? But it's like a stretched out S, you know what I mean? So like usually it looks something like this, but this is way too aggressive in this point, and it doesn't work. And yeah, that's about it. I only use HSL if I want to change the color of a light or a background. So if I were to change orange to like red or like yellow, that's only if I want to, but I like to keep it realistic most of the time, or at least fake realistic, you know what I mean? Or I will use luminance for some like backgrounds, but in this case that kind of ruins it right there, and it doesn't look good. And there, that's the end of the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully it helped you guys out a bit. So I'll show you the before and after. What I do is upload it onto Google Drive or Google Photos, and then upload it. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If it did help you out, hit the thumbs up button. My name is Steven, and I'll see you in the next one.